Okay, I am recording. You should be able to see my screen, hopefully. First thing I'm going to pull up is, which Tara is leading the call tonight. Yes, okay, I just got a text message, so I was making sure. All right, Tara is leading the call tonight, but I wanted to start us off, and then I'll hand it over to her in just a minute. So I just like randomly tossed this into the group the other day, just because I'm that kind of person and I love that element of surprise. But what this is this is not just for diamonds, because I had a few of you message me like behind the scenes, like, okay, explain this a little bit more. And I was like, I will on the call, but I will also explain it to you now. But this is not just for diamonds, but there is a huge incentive to be diamond on the trip. So what this is just a team get together, a team retreat, where you're going to have trainings by elite and premier leaders. Some of them will be in person. Some of them will be obviously through Zoom, like they will Zoom in and chat with us as a group. We'll have team workouts for 2 of those days. The house that I was able to find, like shout out to Angela for saying to check out Blue Ridge, because Gatlinburg yielded nothing that I was excited about. This house has a beautiful backyard with a river behind it. And there's actually spots that you can go in. It's going to be cold. I mean, it's going to be the end of March, so it's going to be a little chilly. But you can like wade your feet in there if you want to. There is a canoe and a kayak, it says. If you're comfortable with that, that's an option that you can do. You guys can take those out. We will do some hikes throughout that community. Blue Ridge is like really famous for that. We'll have evenings by the outdoor fireplace and fire pit. There are 2 of them, so that's awesome. And the fireplace is covered, so even if it rains or it's gross, like we'll still have an awesome outdoor space. There's local shopping and outings, deepened friendships. We always leave with like some of the best memories. We'll do a few work hours that are not awful, like they're fun work hours, I promise. There will be photo opportunities. I'm working on potentially having someone there that will take like professional headshots and pictures. But even if no one comes like that can do that, I have a really nice camera. Like we can make that work. Like we can take time to give photo ops for each person. Plus the scenery, the background, like it always gives you like good social media like footage for the entire year, honestly. All the meals and drinks will be provided. If we go out, you'll get your own then. But that's, like you only have to go out if you want to. There will always be food at the house for you to eat. And then it's just lots of fun. So this is March 25th through 28th. That is a not a Wednesday, a Thursday through a Sunday. Blue Ridge, Georgia. So if you I'm from Paducah, that's about 6.5 hours for me. So just kind of look on Google, see how far that is for you, on whether you want to make that drive or if it's better for you to fly, or just, if that's a trip that you want to make. To qualify, again, it's called a diamond retreat. You don't have to be diamond, but to qualify, you need to be an active Emerald coach by February 25th. Guys, I promise if you want this bad enough, you can do that by next week. But by February 25th, you'll need to be an active Emerald. But if you are an active diamond at the trip, like as we're there, if you are a diamond coach, your fee gets paid. So it's $200 a person. But if you are a coach, a diamond coach, I mean, you go for free. And there's always goodies at these things. It's always just a lot of fun. Now there is limited space. We're going to cram in as many as we can comfortably, but there is limited space. So if you want to go ahead and say like, yes, I'm going to be there, even if you're not an Emerald coach yet, if you want to go ahead and hold your spot, you can pay a $75 deposit and you can Venmo me or PayPal me. Just let me know if you want to go ahead and pay that deposit, and I'll send you that information. Like I said, it includes your lodging, it includes food and drink for the stay, and then business trainings and sessions and those surprises that are there. And that is it. Again, okay, here's one question that I know I'm going to get. If you pay your $75 deposit and then you hit diamond, I will refund you that. So that's how that works. If you do not, you'll just pay the rest of your money when you get there. Um, let's see. I think that's it. There's some pictures. There's a ton more, but it's a beautiful home. I was like, it was crazy that I was able to get this. So there's that. Let me escape and stop my share. Make sure this is not pertinent information that I need to know. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Tara, and I'm really excited because she always lights my fire. Here she goes.
No pressure. So I actually only live like an hour from Blue Ridge. So if anybody's really considering it, we've been there several times. We're so close. It's gorgeous. It's well worth it. So I do recommend striving for that. And it kind of works perfectly with what I want to talk to you guys about tonight. So I want to talk to everybody about how to create like a sustainable, lasting mission in their head for what will keep them going in this business. And what will really like basically just help you always stay excited about it, always stay pursuing something, and always stay in it. So I have been technically on paper a coach for almost 3 years now, but I didn't get serious until the beginning of last year. So in that time, I have learned a lot about how to stay excited about that. So I want to walk through a couple of things with you guys. If you have a notebook or something to write on, then you can actually work through this with me as we do the call. So the first thing we're going to talk about are goals. So you always want to be setting goals. I always recommend setting them in several areas of your life, but for the sake of this call, we're going to focus primarily on like our business goals. But I always say like have a fitness goal, have a faith goal, have friendship goals, have financial goals, have business goals, whatever it is that's important in your life, have goals and have multiple. Because if you don't hit a particular goal in one area, maybe you do in another and you're not so defeated. Or if you have 2 or 3 goals, maybe you hit a couple and you're not like, well, I didn't hit any of my goals. No, you hit some, and it's okay if you don't hit them all. So you're going to make some goals. So for the sake of this business, when you're making your goal tonight, it needs to be a SMART goal. And I know you guys have heard SMART goals before, or maybe you haven't, but most people have because it's a pretty common acronym. But it needs to be a specific goal, needs to be manageable. It needs to be, I always forget the A, blanking on the R and the T, timely. It just needs to be very specific and intentional. And that's really the point of it. You can look up the SMART thing later, but just make sure your goal is very intentional. So this time last year, I sat down and I said, you know what, I have this goal to make this business work, because I was sitting in a house that we had just started listening to Dave Ramsey and we were so house poor. Like the mortgage was way too high for what we were making. My kids were just driving me crazy. Like I love them and I wanted them to be there, but I also wanted to send them off to preschool. So I had to make money for that because I just couldn't anymore. So I had to do these things. And I was like, all right, I need to set some goals. I need to have, this is my financial goal every month, because that's what's going to allow me to afford to put them in school, but also still get to stay home and be with them. I have 3 kids, for those of you who don't know. So that was my goal. Sat down and did it. And I said, okay, so what do I need to do to hit that goal? Well, clearly I love Beachbody. Like this is what I've been signed up to do for a couple years. So why don't I actually do it now? So I set my goal to be diamond, because I knew that hitting diamond rank would propel my business forward. It would build up my team. It would start to create a residual income for me. And it would just kind of be that thing that gave me that sense of purpose outside of these crying, screaming, tugging on my pants children that I had around me. Again, I love my kids, but they were driving me nuts. So those were the goals that I hit about a year, or that I set about a year ago. And then I started listening to everything I could. A lot of Lauren, to be honest. I listened to a ton of what Lauren had to say, which is bringing me to my next thing. So once you set your goal, you're going to do what Lauren talks about. Okay. You're going to envision it. And she's so good at explaining it, but I'm going to reiterate it the best I possibly can. But once you have that goal in your head, you're going to actually envision yourself hitting that goal. So for me, I wanted to be diamond. I wanted to be diamond because I knew it would allow me to pay for what I needed to pay for. I knew that it was going to give me that sense of purpose and that sense of pride and that sense of, you know what, all these people told me I couldn't, but look at this, I did. So that was going to be a thing. And I was going to feel so good about it. I told my husband that when I hit diamond, I wanted him to buy me flowers. So I envisioned receiving those flowers. And it was such a small thing, but I wanted it so bad. Lauren had just talked about the diamond retreat for last year. And I was like, I actually am super introverted. So I don't really want to meet new people, but I kind of also really do. So I envisioned myself going to the beach with these people that I don't even know. And I was like, really intimidated by the idea, but I was also really excited about it. So those are the things I was envisioning happening in my life. And I had to vision it so clearly that it excited me. So I sat down and I started doing it. We're going to talk about like how to hit diamond rank later, but basically I joined a diamond push group that Lauren was hosting last spring, and I did everything I could. You guys, I felt like I was like squeezing lemons to make lemonade, and I was getting every ounce of juice I possibly could out of my business. I was looking at new clients, current clients. I was looking at who would make a good coach in my downline, who could benefit from the discount. Do I have military friends who would get to do coaching for free? Like anything and all the things. And you guys, I cannot tell you, I can still remember where I was when it happened. I was shaking just about as much as I'm shaking now talking to this many people. I was sitting there and I was shaking in the room like, oh my goodness, I'm about to send the invite. And as soon as this girl buys, I'm diamond. Like, I can't believe this. And I was so excited. And that's what I had been envisioning this whole time. So that's what I had to do to get there. Lauren has talked about how she has envisioned herself going on these trips and doing these things. And that's really what excites her. And that's what has gotten her to where she is, because she can see it so clearly that she knows what she's chasing. So, sorry, I kind of talk fast when I'm nervous, and I am actually quite nervous. Then this is the part that you're going to have to write down. If you wrote down your goal, awesome, you're already, step one is done. If you haven't written down a goal, you need to go ahead and take a minute and write down a goal now. Because this one is what I learned like this past week, actually listening to a Dave Ramsey podcast. And I think I have to give credit to Anthony O'Neill, who's one of the Dave Ramsey personalities. I think it was Anthony O'Neill. So I'm listening to him, and he said, you have to have a reason why you're doing things. You have to have a why that makes you cry. Okay, let me explain that. So you have to have a why that drives you so hard that it just hits your heart to the point where you cannot give up. It's great to have goals, good to have SMART goals, good to be very specific about them. Check them off the list. Now what? It's good to have a vision, but once I came back from that retreat, now what? I had to set something new, but what's going to sustain all of these things and keep going and going and going is that why that makes me cry. And it's not easy. Okay, so what you have to do is you take that goal that you wrote down, okay, hit diamond, and ask yourself why. And then you ask yourself why again. So I said, why? Why do I want to hit diamond? Well, I want it for financial stability. Why do I want some financial stability? Because I want to stay home full time with my kids. Okay. Well, why do I have to have something at home to financially sustain all that? Well, because I want to have a big family. I want to have a growing family. And in order to balance all the kids that I want and the schedules that we're going to have, I have to be home for them. So then, well, why do I have to do all of this? And the part that made me really, just the part that hits me, that makes me want to cry, is I want a family so big. And I'm so tired of asking, how many kids can we afford to have? Not how many kids do we want to have. You guys, I want so many kids. And my husband and I would sat down so many times after baby 1, after baby 2, after baby 3. We sat down every time and said, how many more can we afford? Because it's college. And if you have another girl, that's a wedding. And what about this and that? Like, the financial burden of it all was so much. And I was so tired of saying, well, we can only have this many because that's all we can afford. And I knew that I'm not about to be like super irresponsible and just have all these kids and we can't pay for. No, I'm going to work so that I can have these kids, because in 20 years, I want a very full Christmas stable. I want to have all of my kids, and I want a lot of them, because that is my dream. That is my why. That is the why that makes me cry, that will make me get up and push every single day. It's the why that drives my fitness, because I can't lead other people in their fitness if I'm not doing mine. It's what drives my nutrition, because I can't grow a healthy growing family if we're not fueling and feeding well. And it's what drives my business. It's what makes me wake up and say, you know what, I have to make money. I have to earn income. I have to build my team, because I want to be here with these people for the rest of my life. And I want to keep having more people in it. So that is the part that I think you really have to sit down and wrestle with. So once you write that goal down, ask yourself why 5 times. And after you answer why, okay, well, why that? Okay, now why again? Now, why again? And once you get down into that really deep why, you will hit your heart so hard that you will wake up every day ready to do the thing. That's actually all I have. I don't talk a ton of stuff, but that was a lot packed in. So, questions, I guess. I should have had water. My mouth is so dry right now.
No, you're so good. So I'm over here bawling. Because you sat here and you made me deconstruct mine as you were talking. And I was like, oh, my goal is diamond in my second CBC. And then I was like, I asked myself, why? Why? Who cares? Because it allows me to earn that that 2-star bonus. Why do I care about a 2-star bonus? Because it allows me to not worry about money. And then I deconstructed it further. And you guys, what this business has gifted me is when I had my first 2 kids, we were so deeply in debt that I literally would rock them at night and wonder how we were going to pay bills. Like genuinely wonder, where was that money going to come from for my student loan payment or whatever it was. And it has just now hit me that thanks to this business, I get to rock this baby and never have that thought. So I'm telling you, whatever that thing is that keeps you up at night, somehow this business will I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I was saying this on a call last night. Somehow this business checks off all the boxes, whether that's friendship in some way or community or money or fitness and health and getting that back for yourself. Like somehow it checks off every single one of those boxes. And it really lets you see like what matters to you. And then you can use this to do that. Like it has fulfilled every single one of those things for me. But I genuinely want you guys to sit there and dig why. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? And suddenly you're going to find exactly what it is that you need, that longing that you have that you don't think about because it's almost too painful to think about. You know what I'm talking about? That one, that's the thing, that's the chord you need to hit so that when you want to gosh, I'm so tore up. When you want to push snooze on that alarm button, you go, no, I'm going to rock this baby without thinking about debt. And that's what's going to get you out of bed. That's what's going to make you go, this bed is not worth it. This bed is not worth this cozy, sweet bed at 4:50 a.m. when my alarm's going off pales in comparison to that feeling that I'm going to have when I'm rocking my child, not worrying about a thing. So like, I really, really challenge you guys. This was so good, Tara, to do that. Like you find that thing that is the thing and then go for it. That's what's going to make you do something with this business. Okay. Whew. Anyone else want to share?
Like I said, not super long, but it was what I felt like I needed to share this week. I heard it on a financial podcast, so it was not even, it was a totally different kind of personal development. But especially on those days when you are, Alexis is rocking her baby right now. I'd be crying. But yeah, especially those days when you want to quit, if you think about that why, that's what'll get you through. And I think that you need to break down every single one of your goals this way. So when you're talking about your financial goal, do it that way. When you're talking about your nutrition goal, do it that way. Your financial goal, do it that way. The same things. And once you really get there, it's really going to help you with all of your goals. Just keeping that fire going, and always have a vision and always have goals. But once you check those off and once you do those things and once you are the places you want to be, you will still have this heart to fall back on. Everybody.
Well, and I think something that we do, I'm not trying to drag this out, I promise. But I think something that we always do is like the things that we really want. We have it so guarded that we will never admit that's what we want or whatever, because it feels too unattainable or it feels stupid or it's scary to say it out loud, even to ourselves. So we bury that. And I just really want to challenge you guys. You're not living if you don't figure out what that thing is that's buried that you really, really want. Because like I have that conversation with so many of you after calls like this where you're like, that just lit my fire, like I'm so ready to go. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, I haven't sent an invite in 6 days. And it's like, then you didn't really find it. Then you did not really feel that thing, whatever that is, that you want to accomplish and why you want to accomplish that. So, whew, that was so good. Thank you, Tara. Does anyone have any questions or want to share anything? Well, I'm really excited about this retreat coming up. I'm really excited about this year coming up. I can just tell it's going to be a good one. Thank you guys for hopping on the call tonight.
Hey, Lauren, real fast, since you just mentioned retreat, or the trip, I mean, is everybody going to be using that Thursday as like a travel day and Sunday as like a travel day? I'm just curious. I'm just trying to think through.
Yeah, no, those are good questions. So our check-in time is 3:00 on the Thursday. So I'll probably just head out early Thursday morning. And then check-out time is 10 a.m. on Sunday. And I plan to be there until 9:59. All right. Well, this was recorded. So if you need to check it out again, you can do that. Or if you know someone that missed it, I'll get the link out for that. So bye, you guys. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Tara.